to lose. I'm built to win. Apply myself. I felt it in. No time for the doubt. They counted me out. I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss.
Pacers were going to make the playoffs. It didn't end so well for you, brother.
If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool.
You fell asleep at the trade deadline when we had a trade to get Kyle Lowry out of here.
They told me I couldn't do it. They told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie. I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me keep on running toes. They gonna take
this is what we got to tell.
This man doing this.
I felt it in. No time for the doubt. They counted me out. I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss. I pay for the cost. I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Apply myself. I felt it in. No time for the doubt. They counted me out. I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss. I'm paying the cost. I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Woo!
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Appreciate you. Welcome to Refuse to Lose Sports. My name is Joe Jordan. I'm excited about today's episode. I know some of y'all probably looking like, Joe, man, come on, man. Relax, man. You got the jersey on, probably relax. Calm down. We're going to get to it. But Davey Dollar's not here with us today. He will be with us tomorrow, God willing. But I got my other bro with me, Mr. Your Done Son, Tomo. I know, he had an old friend visit the arena yesterday. Had a good day. But other than that, how you doing, Tomo?
The one game, Bradley Beal was getting 12, maybe 15 points here, maybe 6 points here. He showed up to DC and want to get almost 50 in like 2 quarters. But
Crazy.
Other than that, man, I'm doing all right, man. Bradley Beal dropped 50 on his old team, and then the NFC East just plucking and stealing all of the ex-girlfriends from the Dallas Cowboys, man. It's an upset day right now, but it's Money Mondays, as Dave would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we got a lot to talk about, but it's Monday. You're on your way to work. You probably wanted to call out sick because you had a good weekend. But if you are on your way to work, we're gonna turn up right quick.
Turn me up, 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 up.
Take it away, Joe.
Let's get it. So look, y'all, make sure y'all like this video on 3 platforms. We are streaming this on IG, Facebook, and YouTube. So make sure y'all like the video on all 3 platforms. Share the video on all 3 platforms. Subscribe and follow on all 3 platforms. Use that comment section. We can see all the comments that we'll be putting down throughout the show. Shout out to the first comment. Cardo, we here. That's like his goal. That's like his always say that. When you see that, it's Cardo. All right. But and shout out to Teddy also in the comments. What's up, fellas? Shout out to BWT. All right. Use that comment section. We can see all the comments that we'll be putting out throughout the show. If you're feeling good, it's a $sign when you enter your comment, it's a $sign on the right side. You want to throw in a super chat. We will stop everything we're doing, hit you with the hold up sound. There you go, right? And then throw you on the screen. And then you get the platform, you get the floor. We'll read your comment out loud, stop everything we're doing. All right. In the middle of a debate, heated debate, anything. Because we appreciate all the donations and the gifts. There we go.
Donations. Gifts.
And last but not least, enjoy the rest of the show. Tomo, the floor is yours.
Well, speaking of gifts.
More gifts.
Because that's what the NFC East is giving y'all, man. That's why I ain't even gonna say NFC East. That's what the Dallas Cowboys is giving y'all. Somehow, some way, Jerry is going to be a part of the media cycle every time his team's not in the Super Bowl, even if it's not his team actually making the headlines. Commanders, you went and got Dan Quinn. Then you said, Dan was like, I need a defensive coordinator. I don't know who I'm gonna go get. Was it gonna be my guy Joe or is it gonna be somebody else? Everyone was like up in awe. And then the Cowboy Nation was like, we need Joe Witt. We got to make sure it's either Joe Witt or Al Harris. And Joe said, hey, guess what? I'm going to go where my boy go because he always know how to look out for me. So late last night, we find out that the Commanders get Joe Witt. But let's rewind a little bit more to the weekend because Cliff Kingsbury also said that he was supposed to be going to Vegas. I guess he got a gambling problem. So he said, I'm not going back to the desert. He don't like Arizona no more. So he said, I'm going to DC. He flips, tells the Raiders that I'm not going there no more. Signs with the Commanders, and now you have a whole coaching staff now, Joe. You got your head coach, OC, and DC. So how you feeling about Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt Jr.?
All right, I actually like both of the moves. I like both of the moves. Now, let's start with Kingsbury. Kingsbury, I think he's the type of coach like a I'm not gonna say he's good, like they're on the same level. I think Kingsbury is probably better than him, but same level. But Matt Nagy, right? Matt Nagy had his head coaching career, and he just wasn't fit for the head coaching job. He's better off as an OC, right? Josh McDaniels, he had head coaching jobs. He's not fit for the head coaching job. He's better off as an OC. And that's how I look at Cliff Kingsbury as of right now. When he went to the Cardinals, or first of all, in college, we know he coached Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield. I mean, who the best player in the league right now? Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. All right. And he had some involvement last year at USC with Caleb Williams, right? So he's been around some pretty good quarterbacks that's been successful in the NFL. All right. And like I said, when he went to Arizona, first of all, this type of offense, he liked to spread it out. He liked to be pass heavy, which is pretty good for the type of personnel we have. But EB did that, right? Pass. One thing about Cliff Kingsbury, he also runs the ball too. He has a good rushing attack, and his running backs are successful. His first year with the Cardinals, right? 16 points. As a rookie coach, it was 5-10. They won a really good team, but it was 16 points, 21st in yards. But they set a franchise record that year with 5.03 yards per carry. That was a franchise record. So which is good. A lot of that got to do with Kyler Murray. I think he had like 500 yards that year. And then the second year they got better, 13 points, 16 yards. Third year, and then third year, 11 points, 18 yards. Start out 10-2. Remember 10-2? Kyler Murray's getting MVP talks. Kyler Murray had 800 rushing yards that year, which is crazy, and he got hurt. All right, which is wild.
And then Call of Duty came out. But go ahead.
Like these numbers right here, 11 points, 18 yards would have been so much better if Kyler and D-Hop never got hurt. All right, we gotta forget D-Hop got hurt too. So, I like the Cliff Kingsbury move. I like it a lot. But of course, the elephant in the room with that is Caleb Williams. Does that mean we're going to pivot and get Caleb Williams? I think, I know what my stance is. I don't think we should trade up. I'm okay if we trade up, Tomo, but that's not we go do it. I'm not like pushing the red button like trade, right? But if we do it, I'm cool with it. But if he falls into our lap, yeah, you better get him. Get Caleb. All right. But if not, stick with Sam Howell. And Joe Witt, quickly with Joe Witt, I like that move also. He's been with Dan Quinn since he's been with Atlanta. You know, Tomo, he was a secondary coach, pass coordinator also, and pass game coordinator. And the thing with him is, since he's been with Dallas, Dallas 8th in passing yards allowed, 3rd in completion percentage allowed. So pass game's been really good, and you always talk about Trayvon Diggs, like all these, what this secondary has done since Dan Quinn's been there, So I like the moves, and what Cliff Kingsbury, and last thing I'm gonna say is this, is that Cliff Kingsbury, like when you have a defensive head coach, you worry about your quarterback changing coordinators over and over again. Do anybody think Cliff Kingsbury gonna get a head coaching job next year? Probably not. After what happened in the Cardinals. If he does get a head coaching job, Tomo, that's a good thing. I mean, we had a really, really good offensive year. All right. So what the next step and the most important step is who's going to be the quarterback coach, who's going to be the tight end coach, who's going to be RC, who's going to be the assistant coaches on that offensive, coaching staff who can take over if Cliff Kingsbury gets a head coaching job. That can pick up that model. So I like the moves. I like them.
I mean, you said a lot there, Joe. I mean, especially about Joe Witt. That was going to be one of my stats there about how he came into Dallas, and now you see how that passing defense is a whole different ballgame. But another thing that he also brings in, along with Dan Quinn, is the pressures. Who's the one thing Dallas always feasted on is pressure on the quarterback, and that's why that pass defense went up. And Shout out to Kev. I'm gonna give you your shout out this time, but I mean, this is one of the two things we always said about Dallas and their frontline personnel. They never had the defensive tackles. I said it on the last episode. Whereas if you got the DNs and you can get some pass rushers, imagine what the pressure on the quarterback really gonna look like. Because now up the middle of the pocket and the sides, the quarterback really can't go nowhere. Lamar Jackson experienced that in that playoff game. It's not a shot. I'm just telling y'all what y'all need to look forward to. With Cliff Kingsbury, to see him back in the league after him being on your done son as a head coach, I think he was like number 3 on your done son, and it went down all the things that he did wrong in that season. It's like, man, I don't think he's going to be another head coach, but he does have the potential to, because everything you just said again, Joe, made me think of another team, and it sounds like history is rewriting itself. Dan Quinn leaves as a defensive coordinator from a team. Granted, they went to the Super Bowl, but you come back, you get an offensive coordinator who can scheme up some real good plays, i.e. running and passing plays. Sound like you could be back in the Super Bowl in maybe another year or two, because that's the same thing that happened with Kyle Shanahan. I ain't saying get your hopes up, but I shouldn't say that, because everything I said these last few weeks or last few days just been happening. Bro.
Let me write this down. What time is it?
9:14. I might have to retract that from the statement. But now it just sounds like that, because now you got the defensive-minded head coach with his homeboy who knows how to run a defense as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you got those two in place. You also got $80 million in cap space.
Woo.
Where your front office really can't mess that up. But we need to also talk about with that Ben Johnson situation. But I'll talk about that in a second. And then you got Cliff Kingsbury, who's trying to come back into the league and prove himself that, hey, I messed up as a head coach, but you seen what I did in college. You seen I can actually draw up some actual good plays. And if we get Caleb, it's there. You got Scary Terry, you got Dotson. All you got to do is go find a running back, because I think Gibson gone. So Robinson, I don't know how good he can actually catch out of the backfield, but that's more so what that offense is catered to with their running backs. They need somebody that can do a little bit of both, not just run the ball all this by itself. So Gibson might be around as long as he don't drop the ball no more. So the future is bright. I liked all the moves that you all pulled. I just don't like that you all kept calling us, saying, hey, I know Dallas didn't do you right, but what you want to do over here? And same thing for Cliff Kingsbury. Like, did they actually interview him? Yeah. A lot of people said they interviewed him, but did they interview him? Like, did they interview him, or did they call him and say, hey, bro, what you doing on Thursday? Nothing. Come on out here. Because that's essentially what happened with Joe Witt. Like, the Cowboys were supposed to interview him today at 9 a.m., I think Dallas time, for him to be the defensive coordinator. He said, why am I going to wait around when my boy called and said, hey, you can have a job if you want it? Like, I ain't pressing you. You can go through the interview, but this your job if you want it. And Joe looked around and said, man, I'm going with the secure bag. I ain't got time to play around with Jerry, So,
yeah. And the B-Rob, he was second in receiving yards with all running backs last year behind Chris McCaffrey.
Okay. So there you go. Go back and watch some of the Kyler Murray film. See what happens. Can Sam Howell run? Because if y'all don't get Caleb, can Sam run? Yeah,
Sam can run. Also, Connor had 15 TDs with Kingsbury. Kenyon Drake with half a season, 600 rushing yards, and I think 8 TDs, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. His second year, he would play 15 games, had 10 TDs. Yeah, man.
Well, I know one person that's excited though. Terry. You got the jersey on. I know he excited. He like, finally, we got somebody in here that's gonna get me the football. Like, I'm not about to play around. EB want to play. So we gonna see, man. Like I said, 80 mil draft. A lot's gonna happen for the Commanders. This NFC East Cupid shuffle, coaches shuffle is just all over the place today. So if y'all think this was a good hire, let us know in the comments. If y'all think it was a bad hire, let us know in the comments. We might respond. We might not. Either way, become a member so you can really get some actual details.
Yeah.
Now that we know, but it's funny though, because now that we know that you have your offensive coordinator, one of them is still actually contracted to still be with the team, but he hasn't been officially fired, or he hasn't put in his 2-week notice. So we got to talk about, man, where I want to EB, because they say when you love someone, y'all know the song. I can't sing it for copyright purposes, but. What's next for Eric Bieniemy, man? He came into Washington, with the high hopes. He got the whole city excited. They was like, look, man, he had Patrick Mahomes. We got Sam Howell. And he want to be a head coach. This is his opportunity. Season started off great. And then somewhere it just started tanking. Now he finds himself just looking around like that one guy kicking the tumbleweeds. Where you going, Joe? What's next for EB?
I'm just fine. But EB, man. So I like Eric Bieniemy. I think Eric Bieniemy will be eventually a head coach in this league, and I think he should get a better opportunity. I think that, from a distance, the Commanders' job last year looked like a really good opportunity for Eric Bieniemy because you're walking into a situation with a really good receiving core. You got a rising star at running back, and you don't, and then you walking in with the third best defense in the league. You got a defensive minded head coach who can just leave you alone. He can focus on the defense, so the defense should even be even better this year. They went and got their first and second round picks were defensive backs. So you EB, you like, oh, we good money. But then you walk into the situation and you literally had the worst defense in the NFL. Worst defense. So what do you end up doing? Throwing the ball a million times, literally a million times, because against the Cardinals, we didn't throw the ball a million times, right? Against the Broncos, we didn't throw the ball a million times, right? And it all started when the Bears game happened. That's when we really upped up the pass game, because I think that Bears game, that's when the world realized this defense ain't good. This defense is not good because DJ Moore and Justin Fields lit us up from the jump, from start to finish. So, and then on top of that, you got a young QB. When it's pass-heavy offense, we actually had the most pass attempts in the NFL last year, most. And we had a young first year starting QB. So, and you have new ownership. So new ownership is literally you have one opportunity. Even though you're in a 2-year contract, you literally have one opportunity to prove your worth in front of this new ownership. So not only new ownership, we knew if the season total was gonna be good, the head coach would be gone. So kind of, I'm not gonna say I feel bad for him because it's some things EB could have done better, in my opinion. Not throwing the balls too many times, not, on fourth downs, being in the shotgun stance, like stuff like that was kind of irritating at times, and not looking for your best player, Terry McLaurin. But this is his first year fully calling the plays, so I think he'll get another opportunity. They say he's talking to the Raiders, so we'll see what happens. But I think the next opportunity for him is probably being an OC somewhere else. I think he'll get an OC job somewhere else.
I feel bad for EB in this situation because leaving Kansas City, everyone kept saying, "Hey, is he actually calling the plays? Is it Andy Reid?" And it was like, nah, it was a mixture of both. Like I would come up with the scheme, or Andy would come up with the scheme, and we would listen to the players. You have to be a great offensive coordinator if you want to install a new play or new plays almost every week of the season. I think he also tried to do that with the Commanders, but the one downfall that he had here that he didn't have with the Chiefs was the offensive line.
Yeah, that's
when you all were good, the offensive line was actually healthy. Once the offensive line started mixing and mingling with injuries, and you just was plug and playing pieces here, your offense started to struggle more. Because of course, if you want to throw the ball a lot, you need protection in the pocket. The protection wasn't there. When he also tried to run the ball, some people would say, "Well, you should run the ball more." But if your O line is trash, running the ball, you probably get 1, maybe 2 yards here, and now you're looking at 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9 or maybe 3rd and 7. You gonna run the ball again on 3rd and 7? You're not Brian Johnson. You're not gonna run a screenplay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna throw the ball some more. But the thing about that is when he was throwing the ball, they really wasn't getting it to Terry. So it was a little mixture of I got a bad O line. I'm already dealt with I'm already playing from behind the 8 ball.
Mm-hmm.
Got a young quarterback. So what do you all want me to do? Now his opportunities are really going to dwindle. Then they come in and go get Cliff Kingsbury, who who may have all the pieces get all the pieces he need, and now the offense is going to look good, and they're going to be like, "See, I told you it was EB, and it was like, nah, technically they just got a better team.
Mm-hmm.
Team is better. The culture is better. I think a lot of people on this coaching staff already knew they were playing for their jobs anyway, because you got an office. Like they don't, like you always say, Joe, they don't owe no loyalty to us, so we playing for our jobs. Ron Rivera wasn't making the best decisions either. Again, EB was playing from behind the 8 ball. Another landing spots as far as that though, he can go back to Kansas City. That's another place. I see him talking about. I know they're talking about the Raiders, but just go back home. It may suck to go back there because after you left, you was like, man, I want to be a coach, but just go back where you was actually wanted, where you were needed.
And be what though? Because Matt Nagy's still there.
I mean, hey, you could go be a assistant coach to Andy Reid because Andy may retire after this year or the year after that because this is what they're going on their 5th or 6th Super Bowl run now. So if you go there be the assistant coach, now you could bump right up into the head coaching position because again, you got rapport with the players, you already know the scheme, and it's all there. That's one option. I do like the Raiders as well because with their coaching staff and how they believe Antonio Pierce, he does need somebody else. And he can go over there and yell at players. They like getting yelled at, so he can go do that. Think about it like this. Sam Howell, was 66% of his passes for 24, maybe like 25,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. And that was in the first 9 games. That's pretty good for a second-year quarterback who only had one game the season before. EB was doing some things. The offensive scheme was almost there. It's just about your offensive line. Everybody knows if you don't have a good offensive line, you don't have a good team. It's not no quarterback can stand behind a bad offensive line. And the thing about the Chiefs, like I said, their offensive line uses the regular season to find out how to block, and then they get in the playoffs, and now they're just a force. Like you can't touch Mahomes. So EB, those are 2 places. I like Chicago as well too. Once we figure out who their quarterback gonna be.
Yeah, I like when Vaughn said Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is a good destination, but they got Arthur Smith right now, and Sam Howell, Teddy says in the comments. He said, "Is not getting Terry the ball on Sam Howell? I mean, on EB or the quarterback?" That's a good question because once Jacoby Brissett inserted himself to the game, Terry McLaurin had his probably best game. Right, so like every time Jacoby came in, he actually looked for Terry and got Terry the ball, and brought us back 2 games in a row, like which is crazy, and almost won both games. So, and I agree with Mark. Sam Howell hit a rookie raw like crazy. I think after that second Giants game, I could not even recognize Sam Howell no more. He hit a rookie raw badly.
Was it the rookie wall or was it him getting hit?
Probably both, man. And then, like, yeah, man, like after we had a bye week, I'm like, he's gonna come back better. He came back and worse, So I do think
seeing ghosts.
Probably, you're probably right. This man getting pressure like crazy, right? I mean, the first Giants game, he got pressure over 70% of the time, bro. Like that don't happen in the NFL. That's why, that's crazy. He was getting pressure like crazy. So, like you said, bad O-line, terrible defense. You feel me? Playing from behind all the time. When you actually are clutch, you get the job done offensively. The defense let up on the other side of the ball. That Seattle game, oh my gosh. So but I think Sam Howell with another opportunity, if it's with us or with somebody else, with the right situation, he'll be good. And EB also. But I do like EB in Chicago. I like that opportunity for him. We work with Justin Fields. I love him with Pittsburgh, though. I think Pittsburgh would be the best spot for him. Javon said something key. He would look out for him like he looked out for Brian Flores.
I mean, yeah, because Brian Flores definitely his name was out there as being another head coach or a defensive coordinator for another team, and I forgot he was even up there. So that's definitely the good look, especially after everything that happened in Miami, where they was ready to kick him out the league.
And he did a good job with the Vikings last year. He did a really good job with the Vikings with the personnel they had.
I'm just saying, sometimes you just need a new environment. I think with Sam. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's either you can make or break with Sam at this point. Yeah, if Caleb don't fall to 2, I think y'all should trade up because Sam could either turn into a good quarterback with this season and using all this experience and knowing how to deal with being in the pocket and stepping up, different things like that and becoming a better quarterback, or it could break him and he could just be flat out Sam Darnold. I ain't saying Sam Darnold is bad, but you don't want Sam Darnold as your starting quarterback either. But yeah, I don't know, Joe.
He had protection issues also when he first came in. Like, as far as offensive line, he's actually seen those. Like that's what he said.
You see what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying, though. That's a great comparison because now you actually got to get him around some good talent. It's either it's gonna make or break you. And this was one of those seasons where you get sacked almost 70 times.
Yeah, he almost this comment. He went from EB to EBT. Come on, y'all.
Hey, one thing about EBT though, we all can use some food stamps, bro. I don't know. That might be a good thing. That might be a good thing. But what could I say right here? Nah, you just hit a lot. Come on.
That's yeah. He wild. You said you said it in a different wording, but
yeah, he came wild.
Yeah, Kevin wild. Man.
But look, man. I mean, either way, how you talk about it or how you want to look at it, the Commanders are headed towards better days or brighter days, as Kurt Franklin would say. And so is the rest of the division. Meanwhile, if you see that star back there, we don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. So embrace it, Joe. Embrace it.
This might be good for y'all because with expectations, y'all just like with no expectations. But once y'all start winning, though, this is going to just keep on going. That man.
I don't know, Joe. I don't think it's going to happen.
Are you feeling? He's not feeling too good right now.
I think that you know how Daniel came on here last season, the season before last, about how Dak was. I think that's how the entire fan base is treating the entire Cowboys team. They're like, bro, I don't care what y'all do. Y'all better make it. Y'all got to get to the playoffs and win games. Like, that's how they looking at it. So you might be right. You might be right. Expectations might be low in Dallas right now.
Which is good.
For some people. Not for me. Not for me, because I got to come on here and talk about them. But y'all make sure y'all hit that like button because we got a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we got to talk about one of the best players in the NFL today, and also maybe the best quarterback ever. Some say he the GOAT. Tom Brady said, I don't care about none of that because y'all keep talking about him. I'm gonna come back and show y'all who the real GOAT is. So y'all might want to relax. But hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the comments up. We'll be right back.
Yo, my name is Lambo Anlo.
This is Dimitri.
This is Ed Hahn.
My name is Daryl Julian, and this is
Refuse to Lose Sports.
Refuse to Lose Sports.
Refuse to Lose Sports.
Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it. They told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie. I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse.
I see. Calm down. Like Arsenio, let's bring it back. But like you said, man. Hey. Oh man, but welcome back. Second half of the show, and we got to talk about. I wish Carl was able to get on for this segment right here because this would have been a good one. Because he was sitting, peel back the third layer of the show. He was sitting, he was like, man, we need one more topic, and I was like, well, this is something that everyone's talking about, but we always talk about it in the chats because it's always brought up about who's the GOAT. Is it Mahomes or is it Brady? And a lot of people say like it's too early to call Mahomes the GOAT, but technically their careers are looking very, very similar. Outside of the fact that one of them, we don't even want to watch their draft film. Like that was just bad. Like if you go out there and watch Tom Brady, like looking all crazy, running this 40 and stuff, like that was just outside of that. The trajectories are the same. The Super Bowl appearances, how they're running the AFC, how you can clearly see, I don't know if it's a little bit of Taylor Swift, but you see the tide turning, and now the Chiefs are becoming the bad guys in the NFL, and a lot of people are starting to say, man, I don't even want to see them win no more. Or you got some time? I mean, I know you want to come on here, but we not talking about Brady right now. We got to say it like, what does a Super Bowl win do for Mahomes' legacy? And I gotta bring it up. Like, how will my legacy be shared? As Mahomes is set to make his 4th appearance at the Super Bowl at just 28 years old. Like, just imagine, at 28, you went to your 4th Super Bowl. Like, we got quarterbacks that's 30-something still trying to make it out of the second round of the playoffs. And you talking about your 4th Super Bowl. The youngest quarterback ever to reach 4 Super Bowls. Mahomes has a chance to win another Lombardi. 2-1 record in the Super Bowl. What does this say? For me, I look at it like divine intervention. Sometimes when you end up in the right spot with the right coach, a lot of things can go your way, but you can't put it all on just coaching. You also got to look at the player themselves, because some people can take success and they can just win one game and they'll just look at it like, all right, I'm that guy. But this guy continues to do it. He doesn't need the best receivers in the league. Granted, he did have Tyreek Hill for the beginning of his career. Duh, Blaze. But he said that for the people that's listening.
Yeah.
Everyone picked up what they was putting down. I mean, Hurst ain't got one either. But you think of a guy who had Tyreek Hill for the first few years of his career, and it's like, all right, we can win one. But then name a franchise that takes away your best weapon, one of your best weapons, to say, can you go do it? And yet he did it again. They say, all right, you got one tight end and you really don't have a running game. So let's try it out this way. Should we go get you a running back? Nah, we'll just draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire and see if he can do it. Then Pacheco says, I'll step up and take the job. Still find ways to win. You've been an underdog in almost every Super Bowl that you've entered. How many times has Brady been an underdog in a Super Bowl? You let me know that one in the comment setting. Once you tell me that, as an underdog, still finds a way to win. Last year, he went up against the Eagles. He was the underdog. They were losing the game. Made it happen. Some people would say the refs on this side. People would say the same thing about Brady with the refs. I mean, we clearly seen what y'all did with the drones. Y'all had drones before drones. So it is what it is. So for me, if he was to win this one, it would just cement that he's on his way to be the GOAT. But I can't say he's the GOAT as of now.
All right. So you know the GOAT. Okay. So if he wins a Super Bowl and wins Super Bowl MVP, I still got him third all time. Third. All right. So you look at, so first of all, Mahomes, I mean, he's Aaron Rodgers and Brady put together. He has Aaron Rodgers' talent, but he has Brady's intangibles. And that's a scary weapon. And that's why he's able to go to 4 Super Bowls, 6 AFC championship games in his first 6 years as an NFL quarterback, as a starter. And yeah, I know Brady went to 3 Super Bowls in his first 4 years starting. But the difference is Mahomes was the driving force all 6 years. We're talking about from the first time he showed up to the AFC championship game, he was the best player on the team. He was an MVP that year, Tomo. It's like that's a difference between him and Joe Montana and Brady. Mahomes has been arguably the best player in the league from the jump. Montana and Brady had to develop to the best player in the league, right? So, yes, eye test, all that stuff. Mahomes, you can say the greatest. That's all opinionated. But we talking about facts. Brady is 1 still. Montana is 2. You look at the MVPs, right? The only players that got more MVPs than Mahomes is Brett Favre with 3, right? Brett Favre with 3, Aaron Rodgers with 4, Peyton with 5, Brady got 3. So Brady still has more MVPs than Mahomes, y'all. Let's not forget about that. Super Bowl victories. Brady still has 7. This will be Mahomes' 3rd, y'all. Like, you can't make him the GOAT, and the separation is 4. But Joe, Brady always win the best player. But Brady got more MVPs. So you telling me Brady got more team accolades than you, and he got the more individual award. What the award that tells you who's the best player in the world is MVP. Brady got more than that. So you can't not only got more rings, he got more MVPs. You can't put him over him after that, all right? And then
you got Super Bowl MVPs up there?
Super Bowl MVP. I'm glad you asked. The only player with 5 Super Bowl MVPs is Tom Brady. Tom Brady got 5 Super Bowl MVPs. This will be Mahomes' 3rd. So Mahomes got some work to do. Yes, I think Mahomes eventually will pass Brady, but he has to do it. He has to go out and do it. He has to go out and create the resume. And this not even talk about Brady. What about Joe Montana? Right? Joe Montana has the same amount of MVPs as Patrick Mahomes, which is 2. Joe Montana has 4 Super Bowl rings, and not only that, he's 4-0 with no interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, his worst performances are in the Super Bowl. When Joe Montana, his best performances are in the Super Bowl. So that's even an argument. And Super Bowl MVP, I think Joe Montana got what? Joe Montana got 3. So he will still have more than him. So if he wins Super Bowl MVP, he's 3rd best. But last year, I could say about Mahomes is this. This is what people are going to argue with you, Tomo, about Mahomes and Joe Montana and Tom Brady. Mahomes in his playoff career, Mahomes is 1st in winning percentage, 1st in yards per game, total yards per game, 1st in TD interception ratio, 1st in passing rating, and 1st in completion percentage. That's crazy in the playoffs. So I think Mahomes has to get 5 MVPs, 5 Super Bowl. He got to go 5-5-5. He go 5-5-5 or 5-5-5. He's the GOAT. But he got a ways to go though.
But the fact that you can say that he was the best player on each one of those teams, I ain't saying he's the GOAT. I'm also asking about what his legacy will be. Because when you start saying GOAT, a lot of people got their own view or skew of it. I don't think my man here, but I will say this is that he said Carl said he's his GOAT because he's the greatest quarterback that he's seen play because of his intangibles. And when you go back to the actual careers, trajectories, they're looking the same. Like I seen someone put on Instagram a minute ago, and they was like, Mahomes and Kelsey are better than Gronk and Brady. Like the duo was better. And I was like, explain that. And let me go find it because we had a mean conversation. I was like, I see how they're similar because they both needed each other. But I was like, if you think about it, so I asked him why, and he was like, because look at what Mahomes can actually do with the football. Brady is one dynamic. Like Mahomes, he could throw the ball, but he won 4 or 5 playoff games on one leg. Like it's just little things about him that you could say, man, this is great. And some of those Super Bowls, some people will come back and be like, well, Brady only won it because a field goal kicker. He was like, well, he got him in field goal range. So it's a lot that goes back and forth. But I'm gonna go find that and then I'll bring it to the chat. I'm not gonna bring it to the airways. I'm gonna let y'all. You got to be a member to figure out how that conversation went. But yeah, it was a very interesting thing of how you can look at the two quarterbacks, the 2 situations, the coaches. Actually, the conference, the fact that he's in the AFC makes this even more weird because it's like, here we go again. And you can see how the whole world is starting to turn on Kansas City. Like I said, I don't know if it's a mixture of Taylor Swift, but it's also a mixture of they just keep winning and people hate winners. So
yeah, man. And then the Brady and Mahomes comparison, man.
That would be good.
The Brady and Mahomes comparison. All right. Brady. First Mahomes had Tyreek Hill and all that stuff, right? Oh, well, man, Brady done without receivers, man. Brady, he don't need receivers. Okay, Tyreek Hill, you want to go to Miami? Ship Tyreek Hill to Miami. Not only was an MVP, led the league in passing yards, and won a Super Bowl MVP, right? Then the next year, right, bad offense, all that stuff, and then you win again with no receivers, right? So he's doing it the Brady way, and you look at Brady versus his competition in his era, Mahomes versus his competition in his era, there's no competition. Brady actually had competition, and then his second half of his career.
You're going to start something now.
Yeah, his second half of his career kind of separate him from everybody else. But he lost to Peyton Manning in the playoffs too. He lost to Joe Flacco in the playoffs. He lost to did he play Ben Roethlisberger? I don't know. He did lose to the Jets twice. Once in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, he's in the Super Bowl every year. He only lost to Brady, which is another nugget for Brady's side, right?
It is though.
Brady's undefeated against Mahomes. Let's not remind you about that. And the only player that beat him was Joe Burrow. He swept Josh Allen, beat Lamar, beat Joe Burrow the second time. He beat Tua. He beat, all the quarterbacks in AFC you could think of. He beat Deshaun Watson. He's beaten every good quarterback in the AFC. And then ever since he lost to to Joe Burrow, ever since he lost to Joe Burrow, he's been 6-0 in the playoffs, 70% completion percentage, 260 yards per game, right? TD interception ratio 11-0, bro. Like came back as a madman.
Yeah,
So,
no, I'm glad you said that because once you say competition, a lot of people's gonna be like, "What you mean no competition?" Because the level of play with quarterbacks, you got to think. I mean, Brady did go up against what is it? You got Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, like the level of quarterbacks then. But some people will be like, "Of course, you got to throw out Lamar, Josh Allen, Burrow." That's really about it for real. Rodgers is still here, so you can say that. But nah, if you going up against him and you beat him, especially Josh Allen, he just owns Josh Allen. Like, thank you, Mahomes, for that one, because that's one of my arguments. But yeah,
bro, they were.
if every time you go up against him and he beat you, yeah, it's something. I think Burrow had him outside of that bad penalty, but
And it wasn't even Burrow. Mahomes just had a mental lapse. I don't know what the heck happened. Burrow didn't even have a good game. And then they kept calling Burrow head, all that stuff. Oh, what? Went in there with a messed up ankle. Huh?
That's when the defense showed up.
Yeah, the defense, I'm not gonna lie, they play all defense is really good. They play all defense is good, but Brady also had a great defense his whole career. You know, the one time his defense didn't show up in the playoffs, they lost to the Eagles. The only time the Chiefs defense didn't show up in the playoffs against the Eagles, but Mahomes got it done.
That's because Brady didn't catch that football. If Brady would have caught that pass, they probably would have beat the Eagles. But it is,
and because Hurst fumbled too. First time he fumbled, maybe they would have won that game. No.
Hey, look, hey, I'm just saying that would have been good for the Eagles because now you can say you beat two of the best quarterbacks in the league. But hey, one time you had a backup do it, the other time your starter couldn't do it. It is what it is. I know
Mahomes got some work to do though. He ain't to go out this year.
He do, but his legacy it definitely helps his legacy going forward.
Arguably the second best all time. People be saying that.
I know a lot of people in the comments was talking about how let's see Mahomes without Kelsey. Honestly, at this rate, they probably find another Kelsey. At this rate, they probably do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's a good conversation sparking.
As long as Mahomes and Andy Reid there.
Now that's the question. If Andy leaves, what will Mahomes be? That'll be good to see. I don't care about Kelsey. I want to see what happens if the coach leaves.
Oh, it's cool. Mahomes just goes somewhere that got somebody like Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, bring back Travis Kelsey. You know what I mean? Get a Leonard Fournette type. I mean, that was probably his best offensive roster in his career. And I'm talking, and outside of the Randy Moss.
I was about to say the Randy Moss. Yeah.
That was probably the best. That was the best receiving core he's ever played with. I'll say that right now. Yes, that was the best. Chris Godwin, he was a number one rated receiver going into that year. Mike Evans, 1,000 yards every year, and they weren't even the best receivers. It was Antonio Brown, and he was a third.
I gotta go back. Teddy could probably help me out, but I gotta go back and see who was the wide receivers. But you telling me Hernandez, Gronk, and the two other receivers they
those
had?
Were tight ends though.
But you said receiving core.
Yeah,
that's the core.
No, I wasn't talking about the tight ends. I'm talking receivers.
They go part of the core.
Oh, I see you saying receiving core.
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
Yeah, but, you're talking about wide receiver. I'm with you.
Wide receiver, that's the best he ever had. Best.
Hey, well, I mean, like I said, I just wanted to spark a debate because we do the show early now, so I know this is gonna really start a debate. Look,
Teddy, get out of there. No, they're not better than Antonio Brown, who was still elite. Mike Evans, who was still elite. Chris Godwin was smacking his prime. So no,
and they had a best relationship starting off because Mike Evans was dropping a lot of those passes that Brady was throwing too.
And then and then look, Scotty Miller was their Wes Welker. That's how good Scotty Miller played. Well, Wes Welker was better though, but Scotty Miller was an underrated deep threat too.
Nah, that was crazy.
But
we got Vaughn coming up. We got to talk. Last week we talked about Embiid injury, and now we got some actual details on the injury. So we're gonna bring Vaughn up right quick. We got RBO Vaughn joining us.
Are we not going to commercial break?
We did a commercial break. We gonna do another?
We didn't do a commercial. We did.
We did. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, you gotta eat your Wheaties, man. Man, let's bring up. Hey, my man gotta eat his Wheaties, man. He want.
I'm about to say, y'all do 2 commercial breaks now.
We get money over here, man. We do 2 commercial breaks. Hold on, man. We gotta get my man live. Bring my man up right quick, man.
RBO.
Okay, Ron, welcome back, Ron. So let me just do a quick introduction, man. Like I said, we talked about Embiid injury last week. We didn't know if he's going to get surgery or not, and then boom, here you go. He's saying that he will undergo corrective knee procedure for the displaced meniscus. I need to correct it. Meniscus flap. That's what it was. So I think it's going to take him like 12. What did they say? 6 to 12 months to come back from that, hopefully. But what is the ceiling for the 76ers now that we know that Embiid's out for the rest of the season?
It's on me. All right. Like I said last time, man, this is something that the Philly fans didn't want to hear. They didn't want to hear that he was going to do surgery. I mean, it's good for his future, but it's not good for this season. The ceiling for the Sixers to me is play-in. Now, they will have a chance to get out of the play-in because it's reports that Embiid has a chance to come back at the end of the season. However, we know basketball is a rhythm sport. You have to get in your bag. And Embiid was in a bag like no other. So I think this is really going to hurt them. I think they're going to fall. Right now they're fifth in the East, but they're only about 3.5 games ahead of the Pacers. Then you got the Magic and the Heat right behind them. So I think that they will fall because, like I said, Embiid was the driving force, and they have a losing record without him this year. These last couple games without him, they've been struggling. They just lost to the Nets by 15, giving up 136 points. They did beat the Jazz, but what was it? They did win against, I think it was the Jazz, but Maxey put up 50. Now, we don't expect Maxey to average 50 every game. So I think they're going to really struggle. I think they're going to probably fall down the standings. Probably, I mean, they're going to be in jeopardy of missing the playoffs, but I think what will help them is the fact that they already have a lot of games under them, a lot of wins under them. It kind of reminds me of the Brooklyn Nets last year when KD and them guys was there, and then they got traded. KD got traded. Kyrie got traded. They already had good standing, so they was able to maintain that and get into the playoffs, but they got bounced. So I can see this Sixers team doing the same thing, unless they make some type of trade to help keep them afloat. But I don't see nobody they can get to really help them. To really help them, to be honest. So for me, I think they're going to fall to the play-in. I don't see them being finished in the top 16 right now.
No, I got to agree. Right now, we're currently at fifth, right? So if they're currently at the fifth seed, and like you said, Maxey not going for 50 every night, Tobias Harris being in and out the lineup is not going to help. So they will have to make some drastic trades for them to maintain where they at right now. I definitely see them playing in a play-in, but other than that, they're a play-in team, and they just got to wait for next season because it's not like he's a two guard and you can replace a two guard. It's a center, and he's the main focal point of the offense at times. Where it's just like if Embiid's there, boom. It's not like LeBron or AD where if they're not playing, Darvin Ham could actually coach and bring some rotations in, and they could potentially go into Boston and win some games. It's not a situation like that either. So it's going to be tough for them to stay. They might fall out to play in if it gets real ugly. But they are a good enough team to maintain a play-in spot, possibly get into the playoffs, but I don't see them winning the playoff series. You got J-Mo backstage? Oh, okay. We gotta bring the MVP up. What's going on, J-Mo?
Yo, what's up with y'all? Hey, look, man, I was backstage, but I forgot to enter the studio. So I was just sitting there like, why they didn't bring me on yet?
Well, that's good then, because now it's your team. You see the 76ers logo in the background, man. How you feeling, man?
Well, first off, I'm blessed, to be here to talk some more basketball with my guys. Shout out to R2L. But I pretty much agree with what Vaughn just said, man. Like, we already in fifth place. I think we like 3-9 or 3-10 without Embiid. If we get bounced to the play-in, our ceiling is the first round. our ceiling is the first round. We can make it out to play in, and I feel like no matter who we see in that first round, we're gonna lose because I don't see us beating the Celtics, the Bucks, the Cavaliers, the Knicks. If Randall's back, I don't see us beating the Knicks. I mean, I'm not wishing on injury or nothing, but the only hope we have, or one of the few hopes we have, is if Miami and Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton keep his injury up, and Miami, they be having people in and out all year. So, I mean, that's pretty much what we banking on to stay within the top 6 seed. But other than that, I look at this as I know at first we were thinking about pulling the trigger on a trade. Zach LaVine, Pascal Siakam, there was a couple of names out there. We was trying to pull the trigger on a trade, but I listened to a lot of Sixers content, and it seems like we're like, I guess we're trying to see. I guess we feel like the move we could have made this year is going to be there in the offseason as well. So we're pretty much going to see how this season goes, and then make the move, in the offseason. But with Embiid out, I think this is a perfect chance for Maxey to get a lot of bump as a number 1 option. He's going to get double teamed a lot. So I'm prepared to see some 30-point games, maybe a 40, 50-point game again. And I'm prepared to see some 10, 12-point games because that's pretty much what he's been doing while Embiid is out. And I don't expect him to, hit the ground running, averaging 25, 30 without Embiid easily, because it's a big difference when Embiid is out there and when he's not out there. I mean, you can see it in the way Maxey plays. Like, when Embiid's there, he averages probably 7, 8 assists, 9 assists. When Embiid's not there, he got like 2 assists. He don't even look to pass the ball. So I think that our ceiling is the first round. That's the ceiling. That's if everything goes great, almost perfect. But we already 5th. We only 3-4 games outside of the play-in. So I see us falling to the play-in, and play-in is 1 game, so anything can happen. But I wouldn't bank on us, even coming out of the first round at all. So that's our ceiling for me.
Man, I know Joe about to go. I just want to say, hey man, y'all fellas take it away. I got to roll. My last words is, Bradley Bill, if you come back to DC and drop 50 again, I might have to pull up to the arena and talk to you personally. But all right, man, y'all boys have a good show.
All right, peace out.
Yes, sir. You're on mute, Joe.
You muted.
I agree with y'all too. See, this is what I'm looking at right here, because there's a possibility he can't come back. It says a 3.5 to 6 month injury, right? So they're gonna come out with the timetable at the end of this week once the procedure is done. But if he's back for playoff time or right before playoffs, if y'all can stick in that 6th spot, and shoot, possibly going to the play, and the Cavs could potentially be a number 2 seed. Because I mean, the Bucks, it's not guaranteed they're gonna hold up in that number 2 seed spot with the adjustments they're making with the new coach and all that stuff. So if y'all can match up with Cleveland first round, I think that would be good for y'all. That'd be good for y'all to regain your rhythm and stuff like that. I feel like out of Boston, Bucks, Cavs, and Knicks, Cavs probably the best matchup for y'all. And then if y'all can get past Cleveland, y'all clicking on all cylinders. That's how I look at it. So I think y'all, if Joel Embiid comes back, I think y'all can still potentially get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But if he doesn't come back, obviously, I mean, if y'all drop to 6, no matter where y'all drop, I don't see y'all winning a 7-game series against Cleveland, Bucks, Celtics, New York. New York, is up in the air, but New York, shoot. And then probably some of these other teams, like the Pacers, depending on how they look, even Orlando. So Miami for sure. So, but yeah, it all depends on when Joel Embiid comes back. We'll be more clear at the end of the week. But y'all can still make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, though, if he comes back.
See, this might be a blessing in disguise for the Sixers, because it's going to show them a new way to play ball. I always used to say this team is a solid team. They just relied on Embiid a little too much. Sometimes he just has to be a big man. Sometimes you just have to set a pick, roll to the basket. Somebody get a shot up, he get the rebound off the glass, go up, things of that nature, and doesn't have to always touch the ball at the mid post. Because when you do that, when you run that way, everybody is not a threat at all times. You know, when he has the ball like that all the time, like if you moving the ball, everybody touching it, everybody becomes a threat out there. And you guys have people that can do stuff. Like Kelly Oubre, you know, with in his past, he done put up some numbers. You know, he can average a good 15 to 20 points in a series, I think, if he gets the opportunity. And it's the same with Maxey, same with Tobias Harris. I even like some of you guys off the bench, Milton. I'm a big fan of his game. He's pretty nice. So I just think that, you know, even if he does come back, I don't see y'all running it the same way y'all ran it. So, like you said, this gives Maxey some bump as the number one option. He gets to really see what it's like out there when you are the guy. So when Embiid comes back, maybe, you know, y'all still can ball. Because if y'all go against the Cavaliers or any one of those 4 teams in the first round, I don't see Maxey outdueling Brunson, outdueling Donovan Mitchell. So, yeah.
See, the whole. Well, you know what? I got you on RBO for the Brunson thing, but James, I do got a question for you. So, blessing in disguise, right? As we said. So, we've seen this happen before. Star player with injury problems goes down, gets surgery. Second guy steps up, and the team looks really good. Like the team looks really good, and it's like, all right, we gotta make a decision. Contract is coming up, right? When's the MB contract? Can somebody fact check me real quick? But MB contract, I'm not sure when it comes up. I'm not sure if he's due for one soon, but he has injuries literally every year. Do you think if the Sixers were to maintain that fifth spot and play well, that would be like a consideration? Like, should we move on from Embiid? Because y'all can get a whole ransom for Embiid and go a different direction versus settling for these injuries every single year. So we do think about that.
Well, I just fact checked it. His contract runs through 27.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's a good
Runs through
one.
27. But
Fair option.
Which is good. It
Yeah.
makes it easier to trade him too.
yeah, I wouldn't.
Hmm.
Me personally, I wouldn't. I know he get hurt. I just feel bad for my man because he's playing the best basketball of his life. This is the best situation he's been in since he's been a Sixer. You know, I know we've had James Harden. I know we've had Ben Simmons, but neither one of those guys can be themselves with and without the ball. Maxey can be himself with and without. He's the first, second option B's had that can be great on the ball and off the ball. And we got a lot of 3-and-D pieces, a lot of great, not great, but a lot of solid individual defenders. You know, doesn't have to rely on Embiid being back there defending the rim. So I think this is the best situation Embiid's had. It's the best coach he's had since he's been here. And I just feel bad for him because everybody, and it's not like he's completely absolved. He has some blame in this too. But everybody always talks about how his regular season numbers are up and his playoff numbers are down. And I just feel bad for him because he hasn't had not one season where he's went into the playoffs healthy. He hasn't had one. He's been hurt every single time. So I just feel bad for him, but I wouldn't move on from Embiid. Like I said, this is the best he's looked. This is the best coach we had. And he can come back. Even if he do come back, bro, it's hard to just walk back in from an injury averaging 36 again. Like he's gonna have to get into that. Yeah, he's gonna have to get into that. And we already know his condition is already a question. So he's gonna have to get back in shape. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be tough. So I think that, like I said, it's a blessing in disguise. Next year, shout out to Zach LaVine. My man said, I'm shutting it down for the year since they ain't going to trade me. Zach LaVine said, y'all don't want to send me to Philly? I'm sitting down. So, you know, I think that we're gonna make a trade in the offseason and our team going to get back right for next year. But I wouldn't move on from Embiid. They've been through too much with him. And then Maxey, if you get rid of Embiid and lean on Maxey and Tobias, they're probably gonna want to get rid of Tobias too. It's gonna almost be a team blow up, and you're gonna keep Maxey only. So I wouldn't do it. I would keep what we have going. I like Nick Nurse. I like the way we running the offense and the team right now. But my man just always getting hurt. So I feel bad for him, honestly.
Yeah, I think I should trade Tobias, man. His contract is up. If y'all can get something better, he's gonna just walk for nothing. You know,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm you know.
Unless you know what, y'all can let him walk. Forget that, because y'all can sign Zach LaVine next year.
Yeah. And
Sure.
y'all gonna have Kelly Oubre still, right?
He on the 1 year,
Yeah,
like $4 million. He on a veteran minimum.
He'll stay though.
But he'll stay. I mean, people like it in Philly. People like the Philly. Like when you play for Philly, people like the Philly fans. I mean, if your name not Ben Simmons, they like the Philly fans. They like the Philly team. People that play with Embiid like Embiid. People like Philly when they come in. They always have great things to say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Kelly Oubre would stay, but Tobias Harris can play ball, man. He just not it. You know what I'm saying? Like when on defense, if y'all watch Tobias, he tries his hardest. When he's guarding people, he just can't do it. You know what I mean? He tries his hardest, he just can't do it. And I don't understand how you in the NBA in 2024 and you don't work on your catch and shoot. I don't understand how you play with a guy like Embiid and you can't work on your catch and shoot. Your catch and shoot has to be one of the main things that you do when you're playing with a guy like Embiid.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm with y'all. And pretty much everything we talking about, we're pretty much on the same page.
That's good. All right, then. So let's wrap this up. We'll see. We will revisit this once they come out with a legit timetable. You know, I'm pretty sure Javon gonna cover it too on RBO more and stuff like that. But we're gonna get our last words in. Obviously, Vaughn, you talk about RBO in your last words, but real quick, Commanders, man, I like that we're moving up on our direction. I think we're going towards the right direction. Not trying to get too high. I just wore the jersey because it was an easy wear today. I ain't had to look for nothing to dress up with, you know. So it's one of the Commanders. Let me throw the jersey on. Been a while, but yeah. And the Kings, we got who we got tonight. We got the Cavs tonight. Cavs been playing very well. We've been having some easy games. You know, we beat Indiana. Tyrese, he played, but he on the minute restriction. We beat the Bulls. You know what I mean? Little stuff like that. We did beat Luka and them, but this would be a good team to beat while they're hot, you know. And this will wrap up our road trip. I know the Kings won 5 road games. This is crazy. I didn't even know this. 5 road games on the road trip, right? The most wins on the road trip in franchise history.
Wow.
That's including the really good Kings teams and everything. So I was like, okay, y'all, let's get it. And this is fresh off of a 4-game losing streak. First time we had a 4-game losing streak since the first 4 games last year.
Y'all must never had a 5-game road trip.
I don't know, man. That was crazy. It's a 7-game road trip. We 4-1 right now. We lost to Miami when they was on a 7-game losing streak. Heck out there. But yeah, so I'm excited about the Kings, man. Keep going. Fox, do your thing. Make sure you tune in to RBO at 12 o'clock. Let's get it. Shout out to our 12 family.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on the main stage. Always a pleasure. Pittsburgh, new OC. Kenny Pickett, get right. That's all I gotta say about them. Orlando, 3-game win streak. We right there at number 7. About to, Sixers might drop. So hey, we might get that top 6. Not might. We gonna get that top 6 because we gonna pass the Pacers. They can't keep pace with us. I'm trying to tell you. And like Joe said, man, tune in to RBO at noon today. It will be an exciting episode. First live debate on RBO featuring the one and only Joe. We will go toe-to-toe. Got 2 exciting topics for you guys to check out. So y'all don't want to miss that for sure. Don't want to miss it.
Magic. Anyway.
Yeah, shout out to the R2L family. Yeah, man, shout out to RBO. I'm definitely going to tune in at noon. But as far as my teams, man, shout out to my Dolphins, man. We had a lot of people in the Pro Bowl. But what does that mean these days, right? I mean, nobody really watches that. So, yeah, man, I don't know about the Dolphins. I know they're gonna pay Tua. He started in the Pro Bowl. They're not gonna get rid of him after that. So, but we'll see if he can get better. But Philly, man, Embiid, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me because everybody in the world knows that Embiid is the MVP. Like everybody knows it. But he gonna miss it, man. And when we look back on history, people that weren't here are gonna be like, man, he's this, man, he's that. They're not gonna know when he's on the floor. He's like the most dominant player. It's crazy, man. And when a guy like Embiid, I just look back on some of the players we didn't watch in the 80s or whatever, and we look at the stats and we look at the accolades, but we don't really know because we don't know how it happened back. You know what I mean? So it's just messed up for my man. But Maxie, keep doing your thing. Nick Nurse, you are coaching your tail off. Keep doing your thing. You know what I mean? And shout out to Doc Rivers. I don't know how he got the coaching job, but I'm going to just show him some love because he about to get a lot of hate. So, yeah, man, appreciate y'all for having me, and that's it.
Let's get it. All right, y'all, that's all we have for y'all today, and we'll see y'all next episode. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.